Week 1 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few tight ends I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys. So Jake Ferguson, he's going to be the starter now for the Dallas Cowboys after Dalton Schultz left in free agency and he went to the Houston Texans. So for Jake Ferguson, he could be a product of the Cowboys system, obviously, where the tight end is very friendly in the Mike McCarthy offense. And obviously with Dak Prescott over the last few seasons, and defense is paying attention to CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks in the passing game. So right now, Ferguson, he's still out there in 67% of fantasy leagues. But if he has a good game or two, quickly I think fantasy owners are going to scoop him up and get him on their roster. So right now that he's out there in a decent amount of leagues, the Giants really never cover the tight end position well here in week 1. And the Cowboys have had the Giants number over the last 5 seasons. I think Ferguson could go out there and have a good ball game and be a tight end that can make a few plays, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if he had low yardage but found the end zone in this one. So right now, if you need a tight end in deeper leagues or you're just streaming tight ends this season here, I think Ferguson could be a sleeper this week. The next guy is Luke Musgrave. Next tight end is Luke Musgrave. Green Bay Packers. So the Packers, they moved on for Robert Tonyan. They let him walk in free agency, and now you got Luke Musgrave, who they drafted this season. So right now, this is a young Packer team led by Jordan Love with a lot of young players: Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Reed. So Musgrave, he's going to be the starter from week 1. He could be a sleeper option the whole season, but he could also be a guy who could break out on the scene very quickly for this Green Bay Packer team. Right now, he's available in 85% of fantasy leagues, and obviously a tight end is a quarterback's best friend, especially a young quarterback like Jordan Love, who's starting to get his feet wet, obviously, this season in the NFL after sitting on the bench for a few years behind Aaron Rodgers. So this week it's a tough matchup in terms of going to Soldier Field and playing over there where it's always loud and the field conditions usually aren't all that great, even if the weather is going to be nice outside. So right now, Musgrave, he can make some plays. They drafted him for a reason. They have confidence in him for a reason as well. What a veteran like Tonyan go, who's had a couple decent seasons over there in Green Bay. And if you're looking for a tight end as well, he's a tight end sleeper this week, and the third and final tight end, Zach Ertz of the Arizona Cardinals. So Ertz, I know he might not 100% be ready to go, but I think he's going to play in this ball game here on Sunday is Zach Ertz. It's at the Washington Commanders, and it's a game where they could be trailing early and often. This season could be one of the worst years in Arizona Cardinal history. So right now, he's available in 95% of fantasy leagues as Zach Ertz. Last season, he had a good year before he tore the MCL and the ACL, where he had up 47 catches, 406 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. But obviously, Kyler Murray, he's going to be out for a while. And this Cardinal team, they're going to struggle a whole lot this season. So this could be a ball game where they're going to just drop back 40, 50 times as Dobbs and keep targeting Zach Ertz and Hollywood Brown if he gives it a go in this game. So right now, with Ertz available in a lot of leagues and him being a good tight end throughout his NFL career and a game script where it could favor him, he's a tight end I have as a sleeper this week. So that's a few tight ends I have as sleepers for week 1 of the fantasy football season.